Hello and thanks for joining us this Friday afternoon. I'm Mackailyn Johnson in for Journey Taylor. But here's a look at some of the top stories we're following today. In a historic move, Congress expels George Santos from Congress. Stick around for more details from Capitol Hill and what to expect going forward. Plus, after 7 days, the temporary ceasefire is over in Gaza. Fighting resumes as diplomats push to protect civilians. And details on a Little Rock family expressing concern after filing a missing persons report, only to learn days later that their family member was the victim of a homicide. But first, meteorologist Scott Covert is here with us. It's Friday, the weekend is just there, but it's a little gloomy outside, Scott.
It's certainly a little gloomy, but things are getting much better, really by the hour. We started off with a lot of fog, even a little bit of rain this morning, but as you see on satellite and radar now, we're not only drying things out, but our clouds are breaking, and you know what? The sun's starting to shine. Blue skies across parts of southwest Arkansas. I'd give it a couple more hours, and it's going to look pretty nice for a lot of us out there, and that's probably going to be the case going into the weekend as well. We picked up a decent amount of rain. In fact, yesterday, Little Rock saw nearly 2.25 inches of rainfall, much needed. Some locations such as D. Queen approached almost 3 inches of rain. Now, temperatures right now across Arkansas sitting in the 70s in south parts of the state. There's a warm front trying to lift through the area. 70 is the current temperature in Pine Bluff, 62 right now in Little Rock. Imagine that, just a short drive up and down I-530, giving us an 8-degree temperature difference. 55 Russellville, 58 your temperature in Batesville. I think this afternoon we'll probably climb into those mid to upper 60s. Obviously, we're already outpacing that temperature here in Pine Bluff. That warm front really making a big difference for us. Sunset tonight, 4:58. That takes us into the weekend, which has a decent forecast. I think you're going to like a preview of what is to come even next week, all coming up in your 7-day forecast.
Scott, thank you. And we begin with breaking news. The House has voted to expel embattled lawmaker George Santos from Congress. The vote came after the House Ethics Committee found that the New York Republican deceived donors and used campaign funds to buy Botox, designer clothing, and take trips to the Hamptons and Atlantic City. His fellow Republican lawmakers from New York spearheaded the push to have him expelled. However, some Republicans pushed back against Santos's expulsion, saying the court should decide whether Santos continues to serve.
People of his district elected him. They can elect someone new a year from now. I see no reason for him to be expelled. I hope that cooler heads will prevail.
Santos left the House floor even before the vote was finished, and he made no comment as he left the Capitol. New York will now hold a special election to fill Santos' seat. That vote is expected to occur within the next 90 days. And in more breaking news, former Justice Sandra Day O'Connor has died at the age of 93. O'Connor blazed a trail as the first woman to sit on the Supreme Court, and her appointment in the 1980s was regarded as a major milestone for women. CBS News correspondent Weijia Jiang takes a look back at her life.
I will do my best to serve the court.
President Ronald Reagan put a crack in the glass ceiling when he chose Sandra Day O'Connor to serve on the nation's highest court.
I will send to the Senate the nomination of Judge Sandra Day O'Connor of Arizona Court of Appeals for confirmation as an Associate Justice of the United States Supreme Court.
The U.S. Senate unanimously confirmed her.
It's all right to be the first to do something, but I didn't want to be the last woman on the Supreme Court.
Thank goodness for that.
She served for 24 years, paving the way for Justices Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Sonia Sotomayor, and Elena Kagan. Born in El Paso, Texas during the Great Depression, O'Connor grew up on an Arizona cattle ranch. She graduated from Stanford with degrees in economics and law. She briefly dated William Rehnquist, who would eventually become Chief Justice of the United States, before marrying John J. O'Connor III. When no law firm would hire her because she was a woman, O'Connor turned to public service. After raising a family, she got into politics and caught the eye of the White House.
She is truly a person for all seasons, possessing those unique qualities of temperament, fairness, intellectual capacity, and devotion to the public good, which have characterized the 101 brethren who have preceded her.
A moderate conservative who personally opposed abortion, O'Connor's key swing votes preserved Roe v. Wade. She successfully fought breast cancer in 1988. It was her husband's declining health that led to her resignation from the court in 2006. After stepping down, she devoted her life to teaching young people how government works.
Most of our native-born Americans can't answer all the questions that we require of people from other countries who are becoming citizens.
And her legal career wasn't over. Sandra Day O'Connor continued hearing cases on a part-time basis as a visiting judge. Weijia Zhang, CBS News, Washington.
Now, after 7 days, the temporary ceasefire is over in Gaza. Israel's military said it has resumed combat operations after accusing Hamas of firing rockets towards Israel. CBS News' Ian Lee reports.
Thick clouds of smoke once again engulf the Gaza skyline. Israeli airstrikes responding to Hamas rockets. Both sides accuse the other of violating the ceasefire.
Unfortunately, Hamas decided to terminate the pause by failing to release all the kidnapped women as it was obligated to do so, and kidnapped children, and by resuming rocket fire.
Last night, Hamas released 8 more captives, including 21-year-old Mia Shim, who was reunited with her mother and brother. In exchange, Israel freed 30 more Palestinians from prison. But negotiations to extend the ceasefire collapsed, leading to more fear and misery in Gaza. A wave of Palestinians now flee Khan Yunis in central Gaza, searching for safety in the south. Yesterday, Secretary of State Antony Blinken strongly urged Israel to protect civilians.
By clearly and precisely designating areas and places in southern and central Gaza where they can be safe and out of the line of fire.
With few places to go, the hospitals are once again flooded with injured Palestinians.
The resumption of hostilities in Gaza is catastrophic. We urge all parties and states with influence over them to redouble efforts immediately to ensure a ceasefire.
But with Israel vowing to eliminate Hamas, the war seems far from over. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
Now, in a THV 11 update, a man we first told you about last month misleading hunters has now been arrested. Russellville police confirming now that this man on your screen, Dion Dawson, has been arrested. Dawson faces charges of theft of property and obtaining signatures by deception. Last month, we told you about a number of people who got scammed by Dawson. They claim Dawson tricked them into leasing private property in London. But after paying thousands of dollars, they learned it was private property Dawson never owned. A local family is voicing their frustrations. They say Little Rock police waited a week to tell them about the murder of their loved one. Little Rock police say 28-year-old Robert Overton died after being shot November 20th. 3 days later on Thanksgiving Day, his mother and sister filed a missing persons report, not realizing he had already passed away. They say they learned the news through social media.
And when he didn't show up for Thanksgiving, I knew something was definitely wrong. It was completely wrong. People started messaging them, and they informed that he left rallies. After he ate rallies, he went to a convenience store across the street, and then they saw him get murdered.
Little Rock police tell us they took the proper procedures, waiting until the Arkansas Crime Lab had officially identified the body. Still, the Overton family says they wish the situation was handled better. 40-year-old Joseph Walker of Sherwood has been arrested and charged with capital murder in this case. A Saline County road will soon be expanded, and RDOT wants your opinion on it. Highway 5 will have more lanes added, and last night, people had their chance to give their thoughts on the project. THV 11's Ashley Godwin was at that meeting and has the details.
12,000 cars drive Highway 5 every day. Now RDOT is looking to start its next project to widen the road and ease the traffic.
And once again, it's just a constant congestion.
One of the most popular roadways in Bryant, Highway 5 will soon be widened due to the amount of traffic it sees.
You know, and if there's a wreck on the interstate, everybody comes over to Highway 5. It's not very safe at all.
The project would widen 3 miles of the highway from Reynolds Road to Alexander Road.
We'd be widening it to 4 lanes with a center turn lane, so really 5 lanes total.
Representatives from RDOT held a meeting allowing people to give their opinions on the plans. More than a dozen people showed up and got to see the project up close and personal.
And it's been really enjoyable to watch them either find their land or look at the project, and they've given input. They have said, you know, hey, did you know that there's a lot of water runoff over here, and what about this? But overall, they have been very open.
This is something that has been a long goal for RDOT to get this done.
But there's a few years to go before the project gets started. A contractor won't be selected until 2026 as they finish other construction in the area.
It's a ways off, and we hope that the I-30 project will be long finished by then so that these will not run at all concurrently.
If you missed the meeting, don't worry. RDOT will still take public input, and there's another meeting planned for next year. Back to you.
Well, getting selected as a game show contestant is not something a lot of us can say we've done or had the chance to do. Coming up, one Arkansas native did just that and represented our state in a new Netflix show. Scott?
All right, we're starting to see those clouds break, a little bit of blue sunshine there on the top of your screen. We'll continue to see more and more clearing, eventually a sunny afternoon, leading us into what's shaping up to be a beautiful weekend. That forecast and more, all coming up after this break.